Yes, I can see. I think we can start as we wait for others to come. Hey, Sharon. Good to see you. Good to see you, Dr. Ayu. Good to see you, Michael. So, Michael, as tech fails us, my tech is failing. So, I hope you do your tech thing and do for us the recording. I use Read AI, and I can't remember the name of the other one. That's usually just do the recording for me. Like I get the voice and I get the transcripts, which are very good because then you can turn them into a blog post. But I seem not to be getting those to behave. And good to see Miss Paula. How are you, Miss Paula?
I am blessed. This blessed day just got home from the farm. All is well. All is well, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here.
It's too early for the farm. How did you go to the farm Sunday morning?
No, 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 no. We've been at the farm since yesterday.
Oh, nice.
No work.
And
A lot of work.
so, did you bring some yams and
I didn't bring.
yams
No,
and
I didn't bring
coconut?
any yams, but I brought some coconut to make coconut milk and coconut oil.
Nice. Yeah, lovely, lovely. You're lucky to have that and fresh from your farm.
Oh gosh, I wish everyone would really appreciate the value of farming and creating food security. The cost of everything is making it so critical. We absolutely have to be able to be self sufficient. And even if it's in a bucket, we need to be planting something.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I actually wish we could come up with a campaign emphasizing on everybody to come up with their kitchen garden. With,
Absolutely. Just
yeah,
spices and vegetables.
yes,
Mm.
I do grow a bit of vegetables as much as we eat with monkeys. Literalize my garden. But
I
it just
know.
feels so nice. It feels so nice to get spinach from your garden, your onions, sometimes some chilies, tomatoes. It's such a beautiful feeling. Yeah. So I see we're getting more people. I'll just usher them in. And then, Miss Paula, you are the official moderator for the day because I think you're here to grill I and Dr. Gladys, who has gems to share as we unleash and unpack what we have. So nice to see Homolemo. It feels so nice when I see some girl from next door. Homolemo is from my hood, right here in Botswana. Welcome, Homolemo. Hey, Randy. Good to see you, Randy. It's been a while, but at least we meet in the streets of posting and commenting. Hey, Michael. Good to see you, Michael. You're welcome. Hey, Sam Hall. You're super welcome. Welcome. Join us. And of course, Sharon, Dr. Ayu, and our very own Michael. Yeah, we're having a very special event because I think this is something that is a pain to every entrepreneur, a pain to everybody who wants to navigate into the business life. It's one thing to have the skills, and it's another thing to have the capital to do the business you want to do. And as we know it, the financial uh, institutions that we have, the cost of getting funding, the pain we go through, the interest rate can be exorbitant, can be draining. I've been in my business for the past 27 years. I've had a lot of ups and downs. I've had my property mortgaged, repossessed by the bank. I think it was the most horrific part of my business life. And when at it, you look at the amount of interest you've been paying, and sometimes it can bring some little bit of like wanting to give up and not want to do business. It can be super, super draining. So, of course, when we get to know how do we navigate the space of angel investors, how can we get funding to do our projects? I'm currently in the nonprofit sector and I do both. I actually have a commercial business, a private business, and I have a nonprofit where then we go to mostly we work with global economic development donors that fund the projects for us to be able to have some social impact and skill our youth in the continent. which is still not as easy. It gets back to your pitch deck, your financials, your impact. Have you ticked all the boxes? What's your history? What are your social media platforms saying about it? So we're keen to learn, and we have Dr. Ras and Miss Paula who will guide us within that conversation. And they're going to use us as your guinea pigs to learn through the mistakes we're making, the mistakes we've made, and how we can embrace learning, scaling up. And our Selassie, who is very skilled in the space as a chartered accountant, he knows a lot. Actually, he helps a lot with looking at my financials before I submit for could it be a potential investor or a donor. So I'm going to pass the mic to both our bosses for the day. We have Dr. Ras and Miss Paula. Dr. Ras, I think he's in and out. I think he's checking out his fish. He could be cooking
I,
fish for himself.
I'm back now. I'm not sure when you
Okay.
lost me, but I'm back. Thank you.
Okay, the mic is yours.
Well, hello, everyone, and thank you guys again for being here at the 54th episode of the Happiness Tribes live audio room. This is a very special one because it's a part two of a two-part episode on angels in action. And we're talking about angels as far as angel investing, but also sponsors, donors, just what that whole thing means. But as opposed to talking about it theoretically, we wanted to use not guinea pigs, but actually case studies of model entrepreneurs that we're associated with, and how can we learn in real time and demonstrate what we're doing. So have more of an intimate show and to talk about how do we get to that next step, but not only talk about it, but actually do it in real time. And I think that's what this episode serves to do. What do you think about that, Miss Paula?
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Roz. As someone who is deeply engaged in helping businesses really prepare for growth, because it is a strategy. You really, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, even if it's just a startup, it's critical that you have some knowledge about the market you're looking to enter, or very good actionable knowledge about the market that you're already in. No business can grow strategically, can grow in a resilient manner, unless you have the right kind of knowledge, the right education. And more than that, when I speak of education, I'm not speaking about going to anyone's university. I'm speaking about the ability to listen, to ask very impactful questions, consequential questions about your business, about your business market, about the new trends that are coming down, and really, just as importantly, and some would probably add even more importantly, to understand how to position your business for funding. So that's a part of what this conversation is going to be this morning. We hope to have very good conversations back and forth about the positioning of the enterprises that we're going to be discussing. Miss Kim, Dr. Gladys, about your businesses, where you're at. How do you understand your business in relationship to the market you're trying to attract? So all of these things are significant, and all of these kinds of information is the information that a business owner should and must have in order to attract the right kind of funding for where their business is located. So this is going to be interesting. Thank you so much, Dr. Roz.
Thank you for that, Miss Paula. And that is perfect because what she mentioned is you have to know what your business is and you have to understand the market. So, to know what market you're in, you have to understand what you're given and what your business is. And so, to do that in real case time, we'd like to introduce our actual special guest speakers of today's episode is going to be Dr. Gladys Delancey Bolden and our very own Miss Kim. But before we get to them and we talk about business, I want Selassie to introduce himself and talk about the finance of business and how important that is. And then we'll get into the individual speakers and their actual markets as we proceed through the episode. Thank you.
Hello. Good. good morning or good day to depending on wherever you are. I'm Selassie, an accountant by profession. I'm also a youth advocate in Africa, and I provide resources to more young people in Africa for them to succeed. Yeah, I think this topic is really interesting because I mean there is current trend in Africa. If you look into our investment landscape, um, we have so many funding coming from the Western world, but that has been cut off, which simply means Africa ourselves, we are not really investing in young businesses, and we normally get funding from the Western world. Also, another change in this landscape is investors are not really focusing on um, whether you have a great business. They are focusing on sustainability. How sustainable your startup or your business is before probably they really invest in your business. Yeah, besides that, finance is the lifeblood of every business. And if your finance is not really right, investors are really not really going to invest in your business besides distractions and other metrics that probably investors look at. I will end it over here. Yeah.
Thank you, Selassie. And the importance of that is, and I believe a good starting point, because whether you have a nonprofit organization, which is in the States is a 501c3, or if you have a for-profit organization, then your business and your financial structure is going to differ. And even more so if you would like a combination of the two, if you're working in both worlds. So it's important to understand your standing as far as whether you're working in a nonprofit sector, a for-profit, government institution, and understanding that and the business models that will work in those markets. So with that, I'd like to introduce our first guest, which is also a THT tribe founder, but also she's here representing Destination Imagination Africa. And so, Miss Kim, can you introduce yourself briefly and let us know what is Destination Imagination Africa, please?
Thank you, Dr. Russ, and thank you for that overview. Yes, so um, Miss Kim, I think that's a name I love because I was named by children. Um, I found that great passion to want to impact lives within the continent. And after realization of the huge skill gap we have, just like Selassie has alluded, and this is where, when we talk about shortage of jobs, we have a huge gap on shortage of skills. And so we looked at how can we get there and how can we position the continent to be a resource to make sure that we can have our youth economically empowered. And being the youngest continent with 60% of our population being youth, literally under 35, then that should be our gold mine. But then we can only realize their potential after we skill them, we train them. So yes, I wear many hats, but my hat beats education, and my hat beats that education of 21st century skills, which I focus on STEAM education, which stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. Then within that, there's so much work we do. We look into climate change, we look into mental wellness, we do cybersecurity, we do soft skills, technical skills, and we train from early childhood from the age of 7 years up to university level. So, of course, we have so many different interventions. We have so many different partners and associates to get this into reality. Thank you.
So, thank you for that, Miss Kim. So, we know that Africa is a very, very big.
I have a question for Miss Kim. May I,
Yes, you can
Dr.
Yes,
ask me.
yes,
Oz, or I can wait?
go ahead, Miss Paula.
So, Miss Kim, you have a health benefit, which means your objective is really to impact the community that you serve, but you're also in the business of making money. Tell us from your vantage point in terms of your enterprise right now, the specific one. Can you tell us what being a social enterprise entail on your end?
Thank you, Miss Paula. Yes. So, a social enterprise, I would call it a very fulfilling sector to be in, because this is where you running an organization that you are serving the community. You can be able to serve marginalized community. You can raise funds. You can get funded for donations, and you can also commercialize what you're doing. So we have a fee that we charge to organizations or parents that can afford. We partner with corporates sometimes to raise some funds. We partner with donor funded organizations or just global economic development donors sometimes give us funds. And we also get well wishers. We actually have a lot of individual donors that fund our projects. So we have multiple income streams, but we work in two sectors. These are commercial sector and these are full donor funded sector, but are still under the same organization of Destination Imagination Africa. I hope that answers.
Yes, and I think Miss Paula fell out, so she will be back up in a second. But in the meantime, can you, when you're saying we, can you let the audience know when you say we, where are you located, and where's the organization registered or out from, and where do you operate from, please?
Thank you, Dr. Ras. Yes, so we have our headquarters in Botswana, um, which for so many reasons we chose to have them in Botswana. We have partners in different parts of Sub Saharan Africa. Currently, we are active in Zanzibar, in Mauritius, in Tanzania. We have a branch in Kenya, and we might be getting to Uganda very soon, and in Nigeria. However, we are part of a global organization that has its headquarters in the US. And currently, we are in 22 states and I think about 40 plus countries. So this builds our strength, um, because then we're able to share best practice with the others. Did I answer everything?
Yes, you did. Thank you for that. So, with understanding a little bit more of the organizational structure, I don't know if you can estimate whether the size of the group that you work with or the organization, and then we can get into more of what you're looking for in the case of sponsorship, investors, of affiliates, or donors in those respects.
Thank you, Dr. Ross. This feels like a real pitch. Why can't we be a bit easy, relaxed, and fun like the usual happiness tribe? Yep.
It will get fun once we realize and have the audience get an understanding of the context. We're just building context of what we're talking about because not everyone knows everything that you know.
I'm even sweating. Okay. So even Dr. Ras has a different tone. He's not the same Dr. Ras. Okay. Thank you. So yes. So we're looking at sponsorship opportunities where you can help us by providing scholarships for underprivileged children. They can be able to attend one of our numerous boot camps. Right now, we have an upcoming boot camp, which is on the 30th of October. So we usually have short term fundraising projects and long term. Long term, we have 5 year plan, a goal, 5 year plan, and that those are what we approach the global development economic donors, where then you're going to Mastercard, you're going to African Union, you're going to Gates Foundation, and we're also looking at what's available out there. Have they advertised any grant? So that's a different sector of our business where then we aim and we go with those huge expectations that you can get $1 million and you have a project that can run for 2 or 3 years, or you can have an impact of 2 million children across the continent or something like that. Then we have the short term, like this one. We have the Green Tech Rangers Boot Camp. Those are the short terms that we structure them. It can be a 6 month plan, a 3 month plan. This is what we're aiming to do. So, for instance, this one, then of course, you don't ask for much because it's short term and you want to, it's sort of you're creating awareness and still having an impact. So, we don't go to donors asking, saying, I need some funds in 2, 3 weeks' time, and then you're asking for millions. No, this is where now we ask, can you fund a few children? Can you give scholarships? And the ticket goes to, when you're asking for that, we make sure that the ticket doesn't go beyond $300. And in fact, we ask, so per child, for instance, this one, we're taking children to a game reserve where we're going to cover climate change, cybersecurity, space exploration, uh, technology, coding, robotics, artificial intelligence, 3D printing. It's going to be so much fun. And um, we're going to do game hunting. We're taking them to a park that has rhinos, it has buffaloes, it has leopards, quite exciting. It has giraffes, a lot of zebras. Of course, monkeys are everywhere. And there's going to be a lot of learning for them to understand the environment, the ecosystem, what happens in these. We'll teach them about trees, about plants, about the soil. So this is a different way of blending in tech, climate change, environment, because this is critical and our children need to understand that. So within that, we still make sure there's an element of the commercial part where you have parents that can pay. It's going to be 2 nights sleepover, 3 days, and feeding is included. Accommodation, that's accommodation, feeding, catering. We use a lot of our resources because then we take our laptops, our virtual reality gadgets. Kids just come with their clothes. So it's going to be 3 days, 2 nights, providing everything, and it's $300, which is quite reasonable. We are only able to get that rate because we go and request as a non-profit organization. So then we're given a special rate, we're given a discounted rate. So that is one of the ways we get those partnerships that most organizations have. Let me take children, give us a discounted rate because we are a non-profit organization. So those partnerships, the collaborations we create, we like right now we're also asking our retailers, can you at least donate some food, some water, dessert for children? So we get a lot of donations in kind in our fundraising initiatives. We also look for volunteers, where I would ask for Dr. Ras, can you come and train children virtually? Or can you provide? We've actually had Dr. Ras provide a lot of his courses, his programs. You've created a particular course. Can you give the children that particular course? We get, like last year, a private organization donated laptops. We get organizations that will donate the resources we need. So that sort of support helps a lot. So currently, we're looking for, you can donate in kind. You can tell us, I have a set of virtual reality set. I have some drones. We actually do a lot of drones classes. And I can ship some. I can send you some, or I can pay for some. Send me the invoice, or I can offer a scholarship for some children. So those are the kind of interventions we look into, creating those relationships with organizations that can support in that sense. Thank you.
This is amazing. This is amazing. Miss Kim, can you tell me in what kind of technology are you looking for in kind? What kind of spaces and areas are you working in this STEM, STEAM, or STREAM, as meaning science, technology, research, engineering, arts, and mathematics? So, like in agriculture, I don't know, in robotics, what kind of technology are you looking for in resources in kind in this investment space?
Thank you, Dr. Ras. So our biggest, no, actually, our biggest cost, it's usually gadgets, because gadgets for STEAM education are quite expensive. However, we have a strong emphasis on recycle reuse. So we've taught our children a lot of those skills on using recycled materials. And it can be an empty bottle of Coke that we cut into pieces, and we teach kids how can you build a robot using them. In that case, there's still gadgets that we have to buy. We have to buy Arduino kits. We have to buy sensors. We have to buy, um, what else do we buy? Motors especially, and motors are very, because we of course we just buy low level motors. So those are the things that are quite become a challenge because every time, and the drones as well, drones, kids will fly them 2 3 sessions, they hit the trees, they come down broken. Then virtual reality sets. um 3D printer, there's a lot of maintenance costs that comes along. The filament is not that expensive, but there's always something that you need to replace. But right now our pressure point is getting virtual reality sets, getting drones, and sprucing up our robot kits. We've tried not to keep on buying robot kits. What we keep on buying is the parts. So we buy the motors, the sensors, and Arduino boards. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Kim. So Selassie, on that, as the financial expert that's involved in this undertaking and similar undertakings, how do you address this, or what kind of sponsorships or sponsors do you look for?
Do you want me to answer?
Yes,
Or
you can. Yes, you can
okay.
answer and give him some time. Maybe he's having some audio issues. Maybe you have to go out and come back in, Selassie.
Yeah. So what we look for, so we talk to, like, we'll talk to Lego Foundation, organizations that are so much aligned with your mission. So, like right now, we're talking also to organizations that are very active on climate change, on cybersecurity, and manufacturing companies. They usually, a lot of companies that are in the STEM space, they're excited, they're keen to support. Since we're going to do a lot of space exploration because we're going to do stargazing, we're also having conversations with companies that are doing a lot of work in the space sector. Then the environmental awareness companies, like our previous boot camp, we had one of our partners, one of the founders for the Happiness Tribe, Miss Yodit. She came and donated trees and children, fruit trees and vegetables, and ran a class, taught the children what is environmental awareness, why should this matter, getting down deep into ESGs, which kids need to understand that. Did a session, planted with them, and the children went home with fruit trees, which within our training, we very much on practicals. Children have to do, because once they do, they don't forget. And they go home with a tree and keep on checking, are you nurturing your tree? Do you remember to water your plant? And there, right away, you've planted a seed. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Ms. Kim. Selassie, is your audio fixed? Can you comment on the sponsorship question?
Yeah. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, Selassie.
Please, the question.
Unmute yourself. Selassie, you're on mute.
I'm saying the question again.
So, as working with the finances in a NGO, what kind of sponsorship or affiliations do you look for?
Dr. Roz, I'd like to add something. If and when Selassie is completed, I'd like to add something to what Miss Sally said.
Yes, please, Ms. Paula, go ahead while his audio gets correct.
Okay, so there are two things that I'd like to discuss. In all transparency, I've been working with Destination Imagination Africa for the past 3 years. So, with your permission, Miss Sally, I'd like to speak about some of my experiences and how Destination Imagination Africa and Botswana has been able to bootstrap. I'd like to explain to the audience what bootstrapping is. If you weren't on our podcast last week, we had an angel investor called Mr. Lowe that came on. And one of the things he spoke to the audience about, to all of us about, was really about how an organization or a business or a startup can actually bootstrap their activities. And what does that mean? It means that you work with what you have access to in order to push the agenda of the organization, whether it's a business or an organization organization forward. And I'm bringing this up because Destination Imagination has mastered the art of bootstrapping. When you hear Miss Kim speak about what they've been able to do, for instance, with the little robots that they have, and what they did, or the situation that they had with their 3D printer, and how they were able to utilize the skill sets that were right there on the ground to help them refurbish, reapply, and to utilize what they have. That is a part of bootstrapping. And I'm bringing this up because this is critical. If you have a business or a business idea, or even an organization, a not for profit, a hybrid organization that you own, that you're working with, sometimes we miss the obvious. Sometimes, in the need to pursue funding, or for not for profits, resources, whether it's human resources, whether it's other resources for programs, for whatever it is that the organization need. And the same thing with business. Sometimes we miss the resources that are laying right around us. The first thing that is critical that you recognize in that environment is, who is your target audience? Who are your supporters? Who are the people that have bought into your idea, your concept, your business idea? And how can they contribute to what it is you're doing? Those are the people that you need to engage first. Destination Imagination, African Destination Imagination, Botswana, has done an excellent job at this. They continue to do an excellent job with this, which is they are able to engage their supporters to facilitate the needs of the organization, either through helping to provide resources, helping to provide the skill sets, whether it's human capital, whether it's other types of resources, and even funding. So I just wanted to bring this up, and I wanted to interject this piece right here because it's a critical piece. For a lot of us, when we start a business, we have nothing. We just have an idea, and we have no idea where to begin. Start looking around your environment and find people who can support your idea. And they may not be able to support with money initially, but they can support probably with volunteering some time or something else. So bootstrapping is a major piece in terms of getting the organization or the business positioned and ready for funding. Thank you very much, Dr. Raz.
Hello, Dr. Ras. Hello.
Go ahead, Selassie. We can hear you.
Yeah, Dr. Ras, did you say what kind of sponsorship do I look for?
It sounds like he's having
Okay,
like Raz. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
okay. I've I've worked in government sector, and also work with a whole lot of young entrepreneurs as well. Um, it depends, but the most important thing most organizations look for before sponsoring projects is the impact. What kind of impact is the organization going to make? And besides the impact, they also look at areas which are aligned to them. For example, like this, my organization is in the disaster management area. If we are going to look for organization that's sponsor environmental activities, we first of all come up with whatever goals we are and make sure the goals are in line with what they are really doing before we approach them. So it depends on the impact, and also depends on what you really want to achieve. It should align with whatever goals the organizations or the sponsors really want.
Thank you, Brother Selassie. Thank you. Dr. Raz, are you clear?
I think
Can
I'm
you
clear. I think I'm
oh,
clear. Can you take some time and acknowledge the audience while I get my audio straight as well? Matt?
absolutely. So we'd like to welcome Dr. Marcia. Thank you for stopping by and visiting with us. Sharon Rose, thank you for coming by. Mr. Randy Wilkins, Michael Hay, our beloved Michael. Thank you, Michael, for being here. You're doing an excellent job continuously. Michael Padur, I apologize if I'm butchering your name, don't mean to. Sister Chieza, as usual, thank you for your continued support. Thank you for visiting with the family. Go Malo. I'm sorry. I'm butchering your name, sister, and I apologize. I don't mean to. Gomalemo. I believe that's pretty close. Mr. Sam, thank you for coming by. Dr. Ayo, thank you for being here. Millicent, Sister Yodit, as usual, our sister, welcome home. Zoma, Lois, am I pronouncing your name properly? I apologize if I'm butchering your name. Thank you for stopping by and having this conversation with us. Talia, welcome. Sister Margaret, as usual, thank you so much for being here, for spending this time with us as we continue this discussion on how to position your organization for funding and what that process should look like, what you should consider in the process. Dr. Roz, are you back? Would you like to take it from here?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Miss Kim. Thank you, Selassie, and I hope the audience can appreciate um, some of this conversation here as we not only utilize what we're doing here in the Happiness Tribe as far as supporting the overall goal, but also the individual goals of the individuals that make up the organization. And with that, I'd like to introduce Dr. Gladys Delancey Bolden. She's back up on stage. How you doing, Dr. Gladys?
I'm doing well, thank you. So I'm Dr. Gladys Delancey Bolding. I'm actually in science. I'm a scientist, and I teach at a college where I teach an array of science courses. And I also have a for-profit biolog, and I have a nonprofit biolog laboratorium. And those two entities, what I do there is basically I was working with youth as young as 5 years old and providing them with authentic STEM opportunities. But now what I do with Biolog Laboratorium is I actually support other STEM, organizations as far as consulting or either, guiding as to how they can improve their programs or provide students with what they need to have that authentic experience. So that's one thing I'm doing. And then I also have now, I'm launching in the very near future. And I did a soft launch, but now I'm going to be fully launching Beneath These, which is it's a for-profit business where I'm offering a product instead of a service, because the other two were service oriented. This one is going to be an actual product where I've created an undergarment, and it really falls in the category of a luxurious undergarment. And the whole idea is to also to make money, but as well as to support with some of the funds. There will be a percentage that will go to support other STEM projects, and and I decided to do that because when you're in that type of business, as far as like with education, it's not always easy to acquire funding. So, me having that experience, I decided that, for one of the reasons I went to do the product is to also fund STEM products, because I realized the value and the necessity, in this science, in this technology era, but also because I felt like that particular product, there was a need for it as well. So it's twofold. Thank you,
Wow.
Dr. Rob.
Thank you, Dr. Gladys. And I'm going to let Miss Paula ask some questions because I'm sure she does. But before she does, let me just say this is important because this is twofold. You mentioned some very important things that I want to point out too. One was about the assistance in the STEM education field and more so in entrepreneurship. And I just want to say, on a personal as well as a professional basis, you not only talk about it, you be about it, because actually you're here in Georgia as well as I am. And as an organization, you have helped GNN, Getty's Neural Network, which is my organization, help it get its established as a nonprofit organization, so I can function legitly in the things that I do in the space as a neurotrauma endocrinologist. So you're not only talking about it, you're actually doing the work out there. And then on the other side of that, now you have, like you said, you mentioned the Beneath These, and on the entrepreneurial side, it's very important for these young girls to see that not only can you work within the educational system. You mentioned, but you didn't really put out there that you're a professor at Emory University as well, right? And that's a very big thing for these individuals to know and understand where you stand in the nexus of what we're talking about. So now on that professional side, we're here to talk about that as far as investment and what stage you're at and how do you grow that part of the business and balance what you're doing as well as being a family, a mom and have a family. Can you speak to all of that?
Well, first of all, I just want to make one correction. I have worked with Emory, but right now I actually I'm a professor at Georgia State University. But I have worked with Emory in the past as far as research. Well, let me just say that where I am now is that I've actually, and let me just say it took a while to actually create the product because, you get samples and everything, and there has to be some corrections, or it may not meet your expectations, or you want something changed. So I have to say it took probably a little bit over a year to actually get the product. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't have the product in my hand. It's on its way. So I just got a message yesterday. As a matter of fact, probably early this morning, in the wee hours of the morning, that my product is being shipped. So it wasn't something, that happened overnight. There were things that we had to make corrections on because there was, I had to actually wear the sample because it is an undergarment. I had to wash the sample to see how it washed. So it was a whole process. So I want to make it clear that it's not one, two, three. And it depends on, if you just want to sell something and you don't care, what the consumer cares about it, then yeah, you can just go for anything. But no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted a quality undergarment. And how I came across this is because I decided to create this because I was looking for an undergarment over a year ago to wear under, my dresses, or you could wear it under your nightgown, and to give me that privacy because I work in an environment where I'm interacting, with college students. So I wanted to make sure that, I was professional at all times. And I didn't want, and since I wear dresses, if my dress was to raise a little bit, you wouldn't see skin. Instead, you would see something that looked like shorts. So it wasn't meant to be we know that there are a lot of shapewear out there, and I think that women need options. Women don't always want to wear shapewear. There are times when, yeah, you do want to wear shapewear, but why not have the option when you can wear something just for comfort? So but where I am with this, that's part of it. So the product is on its way. So I should probably have it by next week. Also, I've already decided that I'm going to sell my product on Amazon. And the reason why I selected Amazon is because they already have a marketplace. So it's not like I'm starting from the bottom trying to push something, because I know I go to Amazon all the time and I don't know who's actually always selling the product. If it's something, I look at the reviews, and if it has 4 or more stars, and I say, okay, this seems like something that's, legitimate, and it's something that is a good product. And that's what I based it on. So that was that's why I chose that marketplace, because I know that the people are already there. So that's how I plan to sell it. Now, I also learned through another podcast that there's a hack. So I'm also going to have a website. So if people, they can purchase it, they'll be able to purchase it on Amazon. But if you come to my website, that there's a possibility you can get it like a couple of dollars cheaper. I learned that by visiting a podcast where somebody was saying how they use the same approach of going, using Amazon. But if people go to the website and click on the link, then they could, save a couple of dollars on the product. Now, how I finance mine it was personal financing. What I did was I actually used credit. So I use my credit card, and then I was, since I have, good credit, I was able to transfer that amount of money I used to a zero balance credit card. So that's saving me a lot of money, and then hopefully the product will, sell, and then I won't have to worry about paying, any interest on that. So that's how I'm able to finance my project I'm doing now. And so my goal is to also, I'm thinking ahead, because I'm saying, okay, I have this undergarment. I also want it to go global, and I also want to add to the collection. So those are things that I'm thinking about, and I haven't yet started to sell it. And I do want to say that I have I was given 5 samples to try by the manufacturer, and they came in different sizes, small all the way up to 2XL. And what I did was I gave those samples out. I kept one for myself and I gave the other samples to people who fit those sizes. And I allowed them to give me feedback. So, that was my way of approaching this and, hopefully making sure that I can have a successful for-profit business. And that's where I'll end that answer.
Most excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Gladys. So I have a series of questions. And if you don't have the answer, that's okay. It's okay. Here's my first question. Do you need capital investment funding now, Dr. Gladys?
Oh, I would love to have that. And the reason why I say that is because then I can increase my inventory. So yes, yes.
Okay, so you said that the manufacturer's already shipped out. Are you ready to go to market with this product right now?
Yes, I definitely will be ready to go to market because I had already been setting some things in place as far as like, I'm going to be, using AI to some extent where, they could, AI would be able to respond to, just general questions that consumers may have. Yes, I really feel like I am ready because I was already planning it because to be honest with you, I was expecting to have the product within more like 3 to 6 months and it ended up being a little bit more than a year, but that's okay. I just wanted to make sure it was correct. But yeah, I really feel like I am ready to go to market.
Okay. So how did you establish your price points for your product?
Okay, well, I definitely, looked at what others were charging. But see, another thing is I had to realize that I have a luxurious brand. See, and let me just say, now I purchased some of those other products. So I know the caliber and the quality of those other products. And I know that mine is of a higher quality. So I'm basing it on basically what it costs for me to actually purchase it, first of all, to have it manufactured. And then also I'm looking at all of the other monies that are going to have to go in, like I'm going to have to pay to be in Amazon Marketplace, right? And then I'm going to have to also pay for advertisement. So I'm including all of that. And then I also have to make a profit. So that's how I'm determining my price point.
Okay, that's an excellent response. Here's your other question. You said that your channel, your primary channel is going to be Amazon, correct? Online, e-commerce?
That's yeah, definitely. It's definitely e-commerce. I'm not going to, now if there's someone who would like to sell my product in the store, I don't have a problem with that. But I have no intentions of having, overhead costs, to that extent, because having a brick and mortar to me, sometimes, especially now, because we're in this tech era and, I did my research, more people are buying things online than in brick and mortars. That's why you see a lot of these companies going out of business that have the brick and mortars.
You're absolutely correct. But here's the follow-up question. Does Amazon sell luxury items on Amazon?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yes.
And have you looked at their statistics in terms of return on the investment and who the primary target markets are for those particular what we consider luxury items?
Well, I did look at as far as the luxury item. I can't tell you anything about the price point because I don't know how people who have those luxury items on there determine their prices. I do not know that. But what I do know is that you have all different types of people. Okay. And I could tell you that there are certain people who like, a certain, quality. I'm not saying that anything, about anybody who don't, but you can't appease everybody. So that product represents me. Okay. And so I happen to like that particular level. So that's where I decided to go. Okay. So I could have gone cheaper, but that would not have represented me because let me tell you what I saw when I purchased the item and when I found, okay, it was transparent. So in other words, you cannot wear that product unless you have coverage. Mine, you don't even have to have coverage. It's opaque. So for me, that was defeating the purpose because if you can see through the garment, that means it cannot represent a pair of shorts. You understand what I'm saying? So I was looking for something that was created like an underwear, but people would never know it was a pair of underwear. It looks like shorts. So that's what I wanted to represent me. But I could have gone the other way, but I did not want to. I wanted that to represent me.
Understood. Understand. I'm going somewhere with these list of questions. So the follow-up question to that then is, who is your competition inside of Amazon with undergarment in the luxury market? In other words, a product that's comparable to your product that is utilizing the same channel, who you're going to be going up against as a new entrant into that marketplace. So who is your competitor?
I do have, of course, there are some competitors out there, but let me just say this. Okay, what I saw with the competitors that they are marketing to a younger crowd. Okay, so mine can actually span all age groups from teenagers, if they choose to wear something like that, all the way up to seniors, and I mean that lovingly. It can go up to as old as I'm saying, how old do people live? It can go that high up. So because what I'm trying to do is I'm introducing something that provides privacy and comfort, and it also is environmentally friendly. So the way the fabric and everything was made. So I have seen that, but I find that those who have something similar, not the same as what I have, they are marketing more to a more youthful crowd. I'm marketing, actually to an older crowd, but I know for sure that, younger teenagers, they can wear the garment. That's where I'm marketing. Mhm.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gladys. Now, here's the reason I was asking the questions. As an angel investor, the first order of business that I would like to know, and I am not an angel investor, by the way, I just work in this environment, so I think a particular way. The first thing that I'd want to know is that A, you understand your marketplace, B, that you're passionate about your product, and C, that you have a clear strategy for entering the marketplace and for strategically placing your product inside of a particular environment that actually can provide the return on investment that you envision. And so that's why I asked you if you are looking for funding. These are some of the kinds of questions and things that an investor would be looking at. How well do you understand the product and the market that you're selling in and the product that you're selling? How committed are you to the business itself? And are you really interested and do you understand what funding means when you're taking on funding? Thank you again, Dr. Gladys. This takes me to my second point. So my second point really is understanding when we say funding, when funding is being discussed here. In light of this discussion, we've been discussing angel investment, but there's something called a capital stack. Now, capital stack really is it can be a combination of different funding sources and or mechanisms. So it can be or it could be this or that, right? For instance, I may have a business and I'm further along in my business life cycle. So I have an established brand, I have a presence in the marketplace, but right now funding has become quite challenging and speaking in real time in the marketplace, where loans from banks have become very challenging to access for a small business owner. So then as a small business owner now, I would have to make sure that I understand my marketplace very well, that I understand the trends that are coming down. I understand the macro and the micro environment within which I'm operating, and that I have a very clear idea of how much money that I need and what I am willing to pay for that funding. So it's critical as the business owner that you understand that no funding is for free. Anything that you're going to engage in terms of funding, especially for the purpose of this conversation, comes at a price. It comes at a cost. The question to the business owner is, are you willing to pay the cost, or can you afford to pay the cost for the funding? And this is the reason why I'm bringing up capital stack, because in a capital stack, you can get a percentage of the money that you need, perhaps from friends, from family. Usually startup companies and startup businesses or people with ideas begin with this. Like I said before, with the people who support the idea or the concept or the mission, and what they can contribute to the growth of that idea, right? The manifestation of that idea. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, what type of money am I willing to go after? What can I afford to pay back? Right? If I can get it from friends, family, or maybe a different source of funding outside of a traditional bank, maybe my interest rates may be a little lower. Maybe I could negotiate for that. Maybe that's my preference, right? So I'm saying all of this to say that there are different ways of going at funding sources, whether you're a for-profit or you're a not-for-profit. But to get to that point, you really, really, really need to understand the business of your business, whether it's for-profit or not-for-profit. I'll stop here. Dr. Roz, I'll pass the mic on to you. Thank you.
That was excuse me, very, very good question. And thank you, Miss Paula. Thank you, Dr. Gladys. And I just really like this time because it was important to show that even though we're a collective, um, these different industries that you're in and what you have going on needs their individual investment and time, but it also works back together to the collection and education and employment, job training. So to kind of bring that back around within these industries that you work and you focus on, that the imagination, the destination Imagination Africa, and what's going on at the end of the month, right? With that going on, and with what Dr. Gladys said, how can we as an audience promote or give to? What is the mechanism to understand more about each of these individually?
Are you asking the question to me, Dr. Roz, or are you addressing Miss Kim or Dr. Gladys?
Okay, so yes, to make that a little clearer. So from everything that everyone just heard, I was just asking how, if you want to hear more about the Beneath These or Destination Imagination Africa, how do we reach out to the individual speakers here and now, beyond this conversation?
Well, I think, go ahead, Miss Kim.
Dr. Gladys, are you ready with your mic or I go first?
You can go first.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Dr. Russ. And we're learning, very insightful conversation. So, we're in the business of collaborating, networking, and creating those relationships. These are community projects, and literally, where we say it takes a village to raise a child, this is when we call upon the village. So, the sort of support we want is, you might know a donor who can support. Very happy to be introduced to that donor. You can share our pages on your page. So, we love donations in kind. You would know a particular, maybe it it would be a particular organization that's working in our STEM space that could donate to us some curriculum, some laptops, robots, or you have a busy page that you'd like to spotlight, or you're running your podcast, you would like to invite us, you want to give us some media coverage, and of course you can sponsor some children. You can actually, we are open to, we've had donors, especially with this particular project, who come and say, this project per child is $300, but I only have $50. What do we do? Then we look for a matching donor. We appreciate every coin counts. You might know a particular supermarket that you know we can walk in there and get some groceries. We are open to those kind of conversations where we can be able to support marginalized communities. And this this networking, working together, you can bring your children as well. That's support. You're supporting our project. So we're going to have a virtual link where children do some activities virtually, which is a great thing. You're encouraging them to be global citizens of this world. So whichever part of the world you are in, your kids can log in virtually. The virtual part, it will be heavily monitored by technology. And you can just click on my face, connect with me. I'll share the links to our websites, my emails, my contacts, and a lot of that is on my service page on LinkedIn. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Kim. Dr. Gladys?
Yes, and for me, I have a an Instagram page for Beneathi, so you can like my page. Once we get the product out, you can actually try the product, and also give a review on Amazon, and you can also let your friends know. We're also on TikTok, so those are places where I feel like you can market a product like that better. So that's where you can find me, and if you're unsure, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, and I can provide you with more information. And if anyone is interested in a sample, I would be willing to provide that for you as well. If anybody in the room, this is for females. Dr. Raz asked, when am I going to come up with a male version? But right now, it's for females. And if there's a female in here who is interested in trying the product, I would be willing to do that. Someone that's in this room right now. Okay. All right.
Thank you, Dr. Gladys. So I appreciate that, and I'd like to take this last half an hour here to actually invite the audience up now to speak about and contribute to everything we just heard in the last hour. Miss Paula?
Hi, Dr. Raz.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Selassie.
go ahead, Selassie.
Yeah, yeah. Can I share interesting perspective on the pricing? Because I've seen many people get it wrong over here, many startup, and they've really gone off because of, I mean, the way they go about their pricing strategy. Um, First of all, sometimes people are tempted to, to come up with low pricing strategy for their business, and that should not be the case. I think first, what you have to really do is to first understand the value created for your customers. Then second, what you need to do is to, learn more about the competitors and determine whether probably your product is of high quality of any other things probably you really want to, provide to them. Then also you must know with the minds of the customers who purchase your product whether your product is an elastic or inelastic, right? If your customers perceive your product inelastic, which simply means, you can price your product high. But if your product is they consider your product elastic, simply means there are many substitutes. Therefore, you can go on by improving the quality of your product and change the pricing or probably lower the price. And get more customers. That's what really I want to share with the pricing strategies.
Thank you for that, Selassie, and absolutely, that is some very good information. And for individuals who would like to learn more, again, the Happiness Tribe, you can join, be a part of our membership. So Selassie is there. He does a lot of good work. And this is a great opportunity to take advantage of not just what you learned today, but how do you incorporate some of this into your own life activities and or thoughts surrounding your product or service that you may have now, thinking about doing in the future. So as raise your hands if you want. There's how to use it on the end. Anyone in the audience who would like to join as we have more of a discussion now about what we've heard and the topic of angel investing.
I would like to say something else, Dr. Roz. Is it okay?
Absolutely, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to mention that also when I was creating this product, I also have I have a friend, and she does high end. She's a high end seamstress. So I also had her. When there was something I saw that I didn't particularly care for in the product, and it was after actually washing it, I went to her. So and I told her, I said, this is what I'm experiencing. She also had a sample, and she said, you know what, I didn't notice this, but I see it's happening with this too. And she was able to tell me what to tell the manufacturer to do to improve the product. So it's also good to have people, because I would have never known what to tell them. So I was really happy to have her as a resource to assist me with that. And another thing, I had an issue with was that my manufacturer is actually in Pakistan, right? But he did not have the fabric that I wanted. So I started reaching out to manufacturers as far as getting samples in China, as far as material, not so much manufacturers, but really trying to find the right material. So I had like, I don't know, like 40 or 50 different samples coming to me because I was looking for the right sample and I didn't care where I got it from. It just had to feel right. So what I ended up doing was getting the material from China, and then but I had it made in Pakistan. And one error I did make was that, see, well, apparently I don't know my geography well, but I didn't think it made sense to have the material shipped to me and then me shipping it to Pakistan. So I had the Chinese ship it over to Pakistan, and that I incurred more of an expense there. So that was just something I didn't know. So that increased the amount to actually make the product. So that's just something I wanted to mention. So there was a lot of learning through the process, and to be honest with you, neither of them had done that before either. So it was a learning experience for everybody. Okay, so I just wanted to
That,
share that.
Dr. Gladys, that is awesome. I'm glad you mentioned that because you just spoke about, you started from the creative side, right? Of understanding the product and what you're bringing to it. So, in that, you then transferred and said, the cost and shipping and geography and understanding that, which is a business cost. And this is so great because um, understanding the both sides of that. I wanted to ask on that business side, right? When you now have a product or a concept in mind, how do you work out that relationship and ownership in that you're bringing the idea of how to improve this product with even with the manufacturer, right? Like giving them that understanding, but then even bringing in the fabric too, and now doubling down on that. How do you keep all of that as a business person? How do you handle that on the business side? Does that make sense?
I think I hope I answered this correctly, but let me just say this. I was just so fortunate to have individuals that I'm working with that we actually have, I can say it's a relationship, because when I found out that I didn't find out that I was going to incur the expense in Pakistan until the product actually got there. So then I was able, because the guy in China told me, he said, if you have questions, he said, you can ask me, I'll help you. So he was willing to help me. So I was able to keep him abreast as to what was going on. He would say, oh, your material is in Pakistan now. So when I ran into that issue, I told him, I said, I'm running into this issue where they want me to pay more money. So he said, let me check on that for you. So I was just, and these are people I don't even know that I'm dealing with, don't know if I'm in a scam. I just had to trust. But this man, and he still reaches out to me today, the one who provided the fabric, to say, okay, where are you in the process? How is it going? And then, so it's just, and then the people in Pakistan, they have been, obviously forthcoming, because he checked, or he would check on it for me. And he basically was corroborating the experience I was having in Pakistan. So it just so happened that I was fortunate enough to have people who were willing to help me. And I have to say that the manufacturer in Pakistan, I know someone who had used them, so I knew they were reputable, but I had never used anybody in China. So I was just fortunate enough to have these type of connections and relationships where they were willing to help me through the process, because I have never met these people before, and they are still, and they, of course, the one who sent the product, he's in touch for that, but they have really been very gracious and understandable. And then I had to rely on that and hoping that and trust these people. It was not an easy process, but it's working out. That's all I can say. I hope I answered your question.
Can I say something, Dr. Roz? Because this is a perfect
Go for
example
it.
of something else. I see you have
Go
someone
for
else
it.
have their hand up. But one of the things that I think business owners need to understand and be clear about is that you really need to be clear about what your goal is. Dr. Gladys is so clear about what it is, the outcome that she is pursuing, the quality that she wants, because this is something that she's going to use herself. It is the same thing whether it's a service or it's a product. You, the owner, the creator of this, really need to buy into and commit to what it is you are looking to accomplish, because it resonates with the people that you're dealing with. And for other companies, I'd like to add this as well. The people, your suppliers, if they are good business sense, are clear that their continued success is really contingent upon your success, because every client is potential long-term business. That's the sustainability mentality. And sometimes you find it in the places that you least expect. So as a business owner or anyone that's trying to do anything, keep that in mind. Thank you very much.
Did I answer your question, Dr. Roz?
Yes, yes, you did. Thank you. And Miss Paula's commentary was poignant as well. Hello, Sharon. How are you doing? Welcome to the Happiness Tribe. Angels in Action, investing in hashtag THT 2025. How are you doing today?
Hi, Dr. Ross. That's a mouthful. I'm doing well. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Miss Gladys, I have some questions for you, and I'm in Atlanta also, so maybe we can grab a coffee sometime. I'm curious about your inventory management, like actually who's warehousing it, and then like with Amazon, they handle all the fulfillment and supply chain customer service stuff, right? Is so what kind of fee or percentage of your profit margin do they take?
That's they do from what I understand, there it could be a little heavy, there from what they take, and you're also paying monthly to actually be in their marketplace. But I just think that this is the best place for me to start, instead of, because I feel like I'll be starting at the bottom if I push it on my own. So I really think that it's worth it. And like I said, and also having the hack where I'll have a e-commerce website, and that way people can get a reduced price if they go there. So I really believe just the fact that they have so many people in that marketplace is worth giving them that to get the product out there. And then maybe from there I can transition someplace else.
Sure.
So that's,
So did
yeah.
they physically hold your inventory and fulfill it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They do the shipping and everything. And that's another thing. I have, quite a busy schedule. So I really don't, I don't want to be in
The
a position.
automation. Yep. I get
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
So, okay. So if then they run out, like everybody loves it. I would like a sample, by the way, because I am your target market. I wear dresses and I'm likely to turn a cartwheel. I'm wondering if you looked at hanky panky. I wear hanky panky.
Exactly. Awesome.
Yeah,
So no,
and
connect with me on LinkedIn and make sure you send me a message, and then I'll give you an option because they come in multiple colors, and then you get a chance to select the color. Okay.
Yeah, because if they work, I'm always in the market. And I swear I got complimented when my kids were in pre-K because they were called like, and I literally thought about making them for adults. They were called like unders or something like that, but they were like little boy shorts with ruffled like edges around their leg, and they were so cute. But these other little girls would be in pre-K with their dresses on and their underwear showing, and I'm like, and the teacher pulled me aside and thanked me. I'm like, well, I can't negotiate with them. No, I just work around it and solve it. So yeah, I did connect with you, so that's good. Okay, because I'm working on a similar physical product. Well, not similar, but a physical product. And so I'm glad that because that's scary about the suppliers and the unknown. And it's good that you had a great experience. That was encouraging. Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you for your question.
So Sharon, the fact that you shared, the fact that you're not only a entrepreneur, but you're also here in Georgia. You just signed up for a Beneath These commercial, right? You mentioned
I'll be a brand ambassador. I am like all about it. I am a collaborative marketer. That's what I just learned because I came out of college in the 90s, right? And my whole life I've been wanting to be seen as, smart, not beautiful. And like now you have to be everything. But when I was a kid, you couldn't be athletic and smart and kind, all the things, right? You had to pick which one's the dumb down and all that. Now it's very different. So, yeah, anybody that's putting good out into the world and solving problems, I want to help them. And so I want to figure out how I can make a bigger impact on helping the creators as well as put my own goodness out into the world. So that's what I'm focused on right now.
So you people, thank you, Sharon. And I think everyone here, if you're listening this in replay, you're seeing it live. We're talking about angels in action, meaning angel investing in not just financial, right? It means time, resources, expertise. And you're seeing it in real time here, right? Play out. And so this is what we're talking about. And how do we take this and elevate not just ourselves, but our collective, the community, the world, global, right? So thank you so much, Sharon, for sharing, because this is how it works authentically, and this is where it grows from. So thank you, Miss Paula.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Roz. I'd like to add to that statement that what the happiness tribe is about isn't really just about um, helping businesses grow. The happiness tribe is about personal and professional development, and that is across the board. So, whether you have a business idea, whether you're looking to transition into a different industry, and by the way, whether you're looking to become an angel investor, please visit, interact with, become a part of the happiness tribe, because not only do we have businesses that require funding, we actually would like to have those with the funding to become a part of the happiness tribe, where we can actually provide you a stream of businesses that are funding ready, and that can benefit from your funding, and that can increase the level of your ROI. So both in emerging markets and both in developing nations. So the happiness tribe is moving and it's grooving, and we are a combination of people who want to do good and to be successful in our lives. So please, for those that are listening to this now and those that will be listening to this tomorrow, this is a really great family to come and get involved in on both ends of the spectrum. So if you have a little money you want to invest, we have small businesses, we have medium businesses, we have not for profits that are part of the tribe, and we can provide a conduit to that as well. Thank you very much, Dr. Roz. Back to you.
Thank you, Miss Paula. Miss Kim, would you like to chime in? We haven't heard from you in a while. And again, I'd like to invite the guests up. I think a few of you guys were asking to get on stage before, and now you just put your hands up and we'll let you up on stage here to have your 2 cents, please. Miss Kim?
Benivis. And this is the interesting part about presenting a product, which I'm a little bit embarrassed because I've been hanging out with Dr. Gladys, but I didn't know how awesome this product is. So my order is coming straight to you. And I think this is a product we'd love to have within the continent. And I'm looking at, just like Sharon said, we're at that age that we can be beautiful and smart, and we want to be comfortable as well. So I think this would be a great product, and I think it would be a great product for the continent as well. Looking at, am I allowed to say this? Who's gonna judge me here? I think we're physically gifted as Africans at the right places. So, okay, men, you didn't hear that, right? This was for ladies. Chiesa, come up and explain what I'm
You
trying
are
to
in
say.
trouble, Miss Kim. You are in trouble.
And this is recorded. But I'm only speaking the truth. So I think this would be a great product for African women as well. Thank you.
That is awesome, and I'm gonna second that. But I'd also like to say, thinking about manufacturing and natural fibers as well. You talk about the business side, the pipeline of the industry, and being an entrepreneur, you have to think about the whole pipeline of whatever industry you're in, and that begins with agriculture and farming, and so it's very important to think about even that now with what's that next step of, yes, you have partners and you manufacture things in distant places, but how can we bring that home and to the motherland to be able to be part of this emerging industry? I think is very important. Miss Paula?
Absolutely. Oh, Dr. Roz, you know how to amp me up. You're absolutely correct. One of the problems, so I'm in Belize. I live in Belize, so I'm around the equator belt there far in Central America. And in Belize, there is a lot of the clothing here. I don't know where it's coming from, but a lot of the clothing is like plastic. That's what I call it. And I don't know if people ever thought about this, but when you are living in a really hot, humid country, something like Florida, polyester fabric and all those laboratory fabrics that come from oil that are derivatives of oil are terrible in this kind of environment. And so this is just my 2 cents. I believe that as people become more conscious and more aware, they're going to really be gravitating more towards back to natural fabrics. So the cottons and the hemps and the linens and silk and so on and so forth. And I know that that's become really, really expensive. But I'm telling you, I think that hemp is actually a growth industry, and I think that it can fill such a need across the spectrum, from clothing to cloth to paper, all of that. So we're excited about anything, Dr. Bolden, anything that's going to fit us and be comfortable and be healthy and is good for us, without a lot of dyes. We are excited about that, and we want to have a hand in that. We would like to bring that to market where we're at as well. So I want to thank you so much for creating that product, and we're excited about the next move. And Miss Sally, I want to thank you for the work that you're doing in terms of educating our children and getting them ready for this fifth industrial um, economy that is upon us as we speak. I know that the quality of work that you're doing not only allows the organization to pursue funding, but also to pursue resources from across the spectrum as well. So please, anyone that's listening to this either now or later, please understand that there's so much opportunity in the developing nations and around the world, to raise money to increase your standard of living if you're an entrepreneur. And even as someone who probably is a little older or just want to leave where you're at and explore new emerging markets and becoming a part of that, please hang out with the Happiness Tribe, become a part of the family, engage us, become a member, because there's lots of opportunities here in terms of making connections and networking, etc. So thank you all for spending this time visiting with us. I'll pass the mic on to Dr. Roz.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate again everyone in the audience. Thank you guys. I know some of you guys are tuning in just to support, and but I really appreciate it. And wherever you are in the world listening, even on replay, I'm pretty sure we're still out there doing the good work. So you can reach out to us again through all of these means, whether social media on LinkedIn. It's just to be active and to be, a part of the game. It's a blessing to wake up every day and still have a good fight to fight. So I appreciate all of you guys for all of the energy that we put into this. I know, like right now is it's a religious special time for everyone because it's Sunday and a lot of people on this day are attending service. So for you to take out your time and be here with us is a service in itself. So I just want to thank everyone for that and really appreciate it across the board. We're all here not only to better ourselves, but better the world that we live in and better it for the people that we love. And I think that's unanimous. So thank you guys. Miss Sharon, would you like to say something in part? We're going to go around and have everyone kind of close up their remarks. So we'll give it to the guest that's on stage before I get to my regulars.
Thank you, Dr. Ross. I just want to thank everybody that spoke and shared their knowledge and wisdom, and everyone in the audience. I just feel like, you know, it takes a village, like everyone said, and we're building that village. And I think the Happiness Tribe is a really good organization to put these events on. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for your contribution as well. And we look forward to continued relationship. Selassie, would you like to have your takeaways, please?
Yeah, I'm very sorry. I'm having challenge with the internet connection over here. That's why I'm on and off. And besides, I have cleaners in my house cleaning the house. That's why I'm also a little bit busy. But my take for today is I've learned a whole lot from Dr. Gladys this thing. And in Africa, most of the kind of entrepreneurship people really do over here is retail entrepreneurship over here. And I think the kind of lesson Dr. Gladys shared, is really inspiring. I am looking at probably she coming up with a course that can really help African continent because a lot of people go into retail entrepreneurship, but they do fail a lot over here. Probably it might be because of, the exchange rates, or whatever the reason is. I have to really figure that out. But I think retail entrepreneurship and also manufacturing side, Africans need to learn a lot over here. So it would be something I'm really going to champion with the Happiness Tribe, to see um, how we can bring this course and this program to many African youth who probably might want to venture into, retail or maybe manufacturing.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Miss Paula.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ross. So I just wanted the audience to know that this is just the beginning. We've been doing this podcast for a while now. And so we're looking at 2025. We're going to be adding some additional services, training programs, and ultimately at the end of 2025, we're looking to have a major exotic retreat. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be discussing more of that as we progress down the line here. And so I'd like to thank you. I'd like to encourage you to don't be a stranger, become a part of the family, a part of the tribe, and help us to really impact the world. Help us to become the change that we would like to see in the world. So thank you all so much. Please have a blessed and beautiful week.
Thank you, Miss Paula. So give me real quickly before we get to Miss Kim. I know she's brewing there, but so your takeaway now, just a quick recap on Destination Imagination Africa, specifically Botswana, which is coming up at the end of the month here, and then as well the Beneathies with Dr. Gladys. Give me your take on what you learned today on both of those subjects.
Thank you, Dr.
Well, here
Ras.
is it's
Oh, sorry, it's Miss Paula. Sorry.
no, go ahead, Miss Sally, go ahead.
No, it's your turn. It's your turn, sweetie. Go take the mic.
Well, all I wanted to say was that I believe that both of these enterprises, Destination Imagination Africa Botswana, is an excellent for social benefit enterprise. They've been able to bootstrap and use what they have available to them. And so, for anyone who would like to invest, would like to support, would like to put their money or their resources into something that's really having a major impact on children and on young people, that's an excellent organization to do it. They already have a track record, so to speak. And I'm a little biased about that, by the way. But also with Dr. Gladys's Beneathies, I envision this product really going global, because a lot of times things are designed and they're not really designed with us women in mind, with comfort in mind, and with quality simultaneously. So, it's something that I support. I've already got my bid in, to get some, to buy some, whatever, and to support. And I'd like to be an ambassador as well. So I love the fact that both of these women, both of these organizations are ran by women who are informed, who understand their marketplace, who have very specific ideas on what they want to accomplish. And I think they are both very, very well positioned for funding. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miss Paula. Take us home, Miss Kim.
Dr. Ras. So we've pitched nicely. When are you signing the checks? Or what's the next phase? What's next?
I think what's next is you're sending me some of the checks that you're going to be getting. But go ahead. Um,
Yeah, no, this has been super awesome. Lots to learn, and this is what we emphasize on. This is the best classroom we can ever get. We get to the Happiness Tribe if we have some new guests. We meet here every Sunday, 4 p.m. South African time. We exchange our views, our experience, we share, we collaborate. So please, we are happy to have you. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. But don't go before you check who is next to you. What business can you do with that person? Let's collaborate. Let's network. Let's keep building the tribe. These authentic connections. This is how all of us have built. I mean, most of us have built our businesses this way. It's who you know, how you connect to that person. you collaborate. You've seen Sharon needs the product that Dr. Gladys has, and I'm sure there's so many others. I can see some people have sent me text in my DM, and every time I come to the tribe, I walk away with something new I've learned. I make friends, I create connections, I collaborate, I mentor, and I'm mentored at the same time. So if you have a product, anything you're showcasing, and if you'd like to suggest some topics for the near future for the podcast, feel free to go to a comment section and suggest. You have a product you're promoting, you're looking for a job, you're looking for somebody you want to know within a particular city and how you can work with them. This is what we are all about. And please follow the tribe, join us. We're here every Sunday. We're keen to network, collaborate, and build a better world. Thank you very much and have a good week.
Thank you all. Right before we go, Miss Kim, I know if they want to know more about Destination Imagination, Africa, Botswana, what's going on Tuesday?
Yes, thank you for mentioning that, Dr. Raz. So we have series of podcasts coming up, and these are going to be live, but we stream them on LinkedIn, on YouTube, Facebook, and I think on X this time. So please do join us. Come learn. We are happy to share best practices for setting up STEAM education with clubs within your communities. We can collaborate and help you. We do a lot of virtual training. We can come and run a boot camp in your city, Kingston, Dr. Marcia. Should I assume you're from Kingston? We can come and run a boot camp there. We can collaborate. We travel far and wide and work with different people. And also, my sister here, Homolemo, I'm sure she would love to know more because she has some kids that she wants to join. Chiesa has 16 nieces and nephews. Are they 16 or 24? So, Chiesa, don't miss out. Join us. Come learn and see if you can enroll them on our upcoming boot camp. We're going to have a lot of emphasis on climate change, cybersecurity. So, Ola, don't miss this one. And all things tech. And of course, wellness, mindfulness. I don't know if you have seen, we now have 10-year-old kids talking about anxiety. Okay, sorry, I had my echo. We have 10-year-olds talking about anxiety, getting depressed, and stuff like that. So within this boot camp, we're going to cover a lot of that: mindfulness, wellness, meditation, how do you take care of yourself, personal grooming, personal development. So please join us. It's going to be on Tuesday, 4 p.m. Southern Africa time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all for sticking around. Have a wonderful Sunday or the rest of your day and a great week.